What's going on, everybody? Ratchet is back from the video, and you're probably all wondering where the hell the Mustang is. Well, we're going to show you real quick today. We did go to PanaFest yesterday at the Princeton Airport, which was an insane show. Some really cool cars there. We got to show the Mustang and the S3 there. So really good opportunity to meet some people and show the car off. But unfortunately, after we left, I was at a light and Austin launched the S3, and I was going to keep up with them, and I go to put the car in gear and it wouldn't go into gear, like no gear at all, but it was still running. So I was like, what the hell? So I hopped out, and luckily two of our buddies were behind us, so we all pushed it down a little hill to this deli. But basically the clutch and nothing was working, but the car was running, so we were trying to diagnose it. Long story short, we got it towed a couple miles to the garage here, so it's been outside. We're gonna go, push it in and see what the hell's going on.
Alright, so we just got the car in. It is pouring out, so we didn't film much out there. But now we got to figure out what's going on. I hope it's not something. It shouldn't be the clutch, because it wasn't having any signs of slipping or anything like that. And it kind of goes in gear when the car's off, but when the car's on, it doesn't go in gear, so it's weird. So we're going to go over the basics and kind of just see what's going on. Let's pop the hood here. Let's get into it. So if you know, these cars are not hydraulic clutch. These are pretty simple. This is a cable, a couple other components, and it's really that. So we've been talking to a couple of our buddies, and a lot of the common issues with these, with the same generation New Edge Mustang, and a lot of our buddies and a lot of forums and stuff are saying that the quadrant fails. So let's go inside. We haven't even looked at anything yet. We literally just pulled this in. I'll go in here. It's pretty much a plastic quadrant from the OEM. It tends to fail, and it's pretty much going to go from the clutch pedal right over the acceleration pedal, and it's a little lever. It's almost like, I think it's plastic. Let me just double check. And pretty much that is a very common symptom that fails. Upon quick looking, doesn't seem like it's failing. It's actually pretty much intact. All the clips are there. Unfortunately, this would have been the easy solution, but it is not this, so we're gonna have to keep going down the list. But as you can see right there, there's a plastic, almost like a whole mechanism. As I press the clutch in, it kind of moves on this little lever right there. But unfortunately, that's intact, so that is not the solution. So we're gonna have to reconfigure and go to the next step, which would be pretty much just checking the cable out. And if it's not the cable, then we might have to dive into the clutch, and I hope that's not the case, because it really didn't show any symptoms of slipping. It kind of just
stopped working. Usually what it slips, it starts to slip.
Yeah, and it will slip for a while. I mean, this is a stage 2 clutch. Granted, we're pushing, what, 458
technically?
Yeah. And the clutch was rated for, what, 460?
460 something, yep.
So we're right on the ballpark, so it's very possible that it is a clutch. I hope it's not, but
hopefully not. Or the trans or something like that. I mean,
yeah, something broken side internal damage. But if that's the case, we might as well upgrade the whole trans. Oh, yeah. But let's figure it out. Let's go to the cable and see what's going on. So we're gonna make our way to the engine bay here. This is the clutch cable I was talking about right here. This whole cable, it's very loose. I think one of the bolts for the bracket is, oh yeah, the bracket's just free falling, so that's lovely. But that shouldn't be the issue, but we will have to tighten that down. But yeah, I mean, add it with the headers and everything and the turbo. There's a lot of exhaust piping down there. I wouldn't be surprised if, maybe that melted or it's got intertwined or something stupid like that. Hopefully that's the case. Let's get this thing up in the air. Let's get under there and inspect what's going on. I hope that's the case, because if not, there's really nothing else mechanical other than, diving into the trans. I really don't want to remove the trans, especially when we just got this car up and running. It's summertime, so we want to enjoy it. But let's get this thing up in the air and see what's going on here. Alright, boys, I'm out of breath, getting old for this shit, but let's go in for it. Let's see what's going on. Let's get under here. Oh god, this rain is just dripping on me. Oh, that was right in my eyeball. Oh dude, I gotta fix that oil leak. Where's the cable at? Where are you?
Anything?
Dude?
What?
I knew it. I knew it.
Knew what? What is it?
It's the cable. It's the clutch cable.
What do you mean?
It's been resting on the exhaust the whole time.
No.
Look at this. Look at this.
No way. Hold on, let me just try and get under here. I think it's on it. If you could shine the light a little off it.
Dude, look at it. Look at those
Wow, that is
cables. It was resting right here.
Dude, turbo life, Jesus.
Mother frigger, man. Well, that's a good, you know, as bad as that seems, that's not a bad diagnosis right there, because cable shouldn't be too much. But yeah, as you guys could see, it was resting on the exhaust. It burned through. I want to say it was like almost like a nylon, some kind of coating. It's like a heat shield in a way. But the turbo, this heat shield was no match for the downpipe, unfortunately. And it burned right through that. You could see the cables. They're not supposed to be bent like that. And I bet you that's throwing off everything. It's just not going to catch that way. So, safe to say that that is one of the problems. As you can see, we got a little bit of rain, we got some oil leaks, we got a whole bunch of project car stuff to do here, but I think this is our next step. We might as well get the new clutch cable, and hopefully within this week, so we'll probably end up coming back another day, and we'll keep in the same video, so it'll be like 2 seconds for you, but it'll be a couple days for us. We'll replace the cable. Might as well get the clutch quadrant, and then any other supporting mods that will go with that, so we'll get that all said and done. Yeah, guys, I think that's the solution, so we're going to order that up, and we'll see you guys when it comes in. Alright guys, so it's a couple of days later. We actually just got our parts in, and we're going to pretty much hopefully fix this problem. Definitely fix this problem. But before we get into it, I just want to say, this is an old hat, but back in stock. They're pretty much just a different style logo than we have, and then ratchet wrenches on it. Adjustable snapbacks. If you want to support the channel, we appreciate that. And there's, of course, you guys are here for the 2-valve. There's a turbo 2-valve shirt. But that's all going to be linked down below in the description. And we'll put a picture of the 2-valve shirt up now. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So we ended up getting all the parts we needed. We got a brand new double hook quadrant. This is billet aluminum. It's very nice, very lightweight, so it replaces that cheap plastic that tends to fail, like we were saying a little bit ago. We got that. We also got our clutch cable adjuster. So this is pretty much going to prevent us from going down low to the transmission and adjusting it by hand. This will just be a quick solution so we don't have to jack up the car. It will be in the engine bay. I'll show you guys how to do that. And then of course we got an OEM 99 to 04 clutch cable here. Hopefully this one doesn't get torn through like that one did, but we're going to make sure we route it up properly and stay as far away from the exhaust. With the adjuster, we will be fooling with this connector here. I think we actually have to remove this. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look into that a little more, because this is what goes to the firewall, but now that we'll have the adjuster, that will go to the firewall. And of course it gives you another nut. So without further ado, let's start jacking up the car and start taking off the old one and see how easy this is. Alright, so as you can see, we made our way under the car. Damn, I always start with alright, so. But anyways.
Common saying.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's every YouTuber's thing. Alright, enough of me talking. We gotta get this little cover off. As you can see, there's a lot of oil. We did mention that, I think, the other day. But we have an oil leak. A massive oil leak that we have to kind of take care of. But right now, we're just gonna take this 10mm. Damn, this is such a long extension. I'm stupid. Gotta take that off to get this little aluminum cover off, and then that will give us access to the cable and what's holding it in. Alright. Boom. So this is what we have to... Are we in neutral?
Let me double check. We in nooch, dude?
Nooch? You in nooch, dad? Nooch? What you know about that nooch?
Regular nooch, dude.
Nooch. So I just had Wes make sure we're in nooch. Alright, so we're going to pretty much just pry this out of the way, and that way we could slide this through that hole there. It's going to release it, and we'll slide her through. So now there's a little retaining clip here. You just have to get that out of the way, and we'll be able to pull this clutch cable through there. God, there's so much oil, everything's so slippery. Make sure they don't give you a new retaining clip, so don't lose it. We're going to throw that through there. Alright. Now pretty much we got to feed it out the top, which you probably won't be able to see on camera, but I'm going to try my best. Before we go up to the top, there is one bracket here. Ours seemed to fail. So our bolt popped off, and we won't be showing that step, unfortunately. Plus it's hidden, it's right on the frame up here, like right up above the exhaust. So we're gonna skip that step, but we're gonna get this one through. And Wes, if you want to go up top, we'll start pulling it through.
Keep pulling her.
Yeah.
There's the carnage up close.
Yeah, look at that. It's all twisted, mangled, and smangled, and the
Not a clutch anymore.
Yeah,
Clutch
well,
cable.
yeah, it just wasn't. Damn.
It's so weird how that happened, like at the exact moment it did too. I mean, just weird.
It probably was getting so weak because it was heating up. Because this is, I think, steel, so it's probably heating up so much. And I think, you know, the way that's exactly where it U'd.
Yep.
If that's a word, that's exactly where it, you know, took formation in the U.
Nooch, U, we're making words up today.
Yeah, so that's the Coper right there. So now we're gonna have to disconnect it from the firewall, and of course to the clutch quadrant down low, which we're gonna be replacing with that nice billet aluminum Ford Performance one. So let's just keep going. All right, so I'm gonna make my way under here and just release the clutch cable from the quadrant. You're not gonna be able to see, so I'm not even gonna bother filming. It's just pushing in the clutch, and then you'll see where the cable goes through the firewall. You just have to take it out of the little clip, and then it should be able to pull right through after we disconnect it from the firewall. Bam. Old one's out. So this right here is what I was talking about that connects to the, it's right over the gas pedal, but in theory it goes to that quadrant once it connects to the clutch. There was 2 screws that held this into the firewall there. I didn't end up filming that, but they were 5mm, but most likely standard, but the 5mm worked just fine. So if you don't have that, definitely get some small sockets because you will need that. So we got this one out of the way. We're probably gonna fish the new one up, and then we'll go inside and start tearing down the quadrant and putting the new quadrant on.
Alright guys, quick note, we're using the factory Ford clutch cable as shown here, and that's the old one, broken one. So what you'll have to do if you're using the firewall adjuster is just pop this black kind of like silicone piece of rubber off of this right here. So I just used a flathead and kind of got under it that way and just worked around all the edges and pulled it straight off. So same thing if you're using the one from the factory, you'll probably just take this plastic clip off in a similar fashion, and then you can use the firewall adjuster. So yeah, we'll get going now.
So after like 15 minutes of fighting, we finally got the old plastic junk out. As you can see, it's got a bunch of little hardware, springs, retaining clips, etc. This video is not really a tutorial because we really can't get the camera in there. We're running out of daylight, so we want to get this done. But there is a guy, I'll link his video down below if you want a tutorial, a step-by-step. He does it really good. He takes out the driver's seat and he makes it work. But that's not this style video. So without further ado, we're going to chuck this to the side, literally, and start putting the billet aluminum one in. Alright, so we just finished up and we put it in gear, put it in reverse. It works phenomenal. This car's going to be back on the road. We just got little odds and ends we got to deal with, like the oil leak. But overall, super easy install. Like I said, if you guys want a really in-depth tutorial, that video's down below. You know, we're not affiliated with that guy or anything like that, but he does do a really good one, very visually appealing. But yeah, this fixed it up. We were so worried that it was going to be the clutch or something catastrophic, but thankfully, you know, our diagnosing eyes figured out that it was just a clutch cable. Saved us a lot of money in the end, and in the end, it really get this thing back on the road a lot sooner. So pretty much now we can have some fun with this. Summer's here, so we're going to do draggy in the next video, so we're going to see what kind of times and numbers this puts up. But please make sure you have your notification bell on if you don't want to miss that. We're going to get rowdy with this thing. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for it, so here's the time. Let's get it. So we'll see you next time, and peace.